Hello, everyone, and warm season's greetings. I'm Claire, and this is a Nightbird. Today, as Christmas is upon us very soon, there are a lot of things Christmas related I want to talk about, and of course, a lot of my knitting and crafting, in fact, all of it at the moment, has to do with Christmas. I'm sure a lot of you are having the same thing. I also wanted to show off our Christmas tree, and I also thought, it would be great to sit by the fire and be warm for this podcast. Hopefully I don't get too hot, but it's so cold outside. I just love sitting next to the fire. I love having this possibility now. This time last year we were in a flat, and I just used to sit on the heaters, and this is just really, it's like a dream. I wanted to thank those who sent good wishes and who asked after my mother, and give you a little update. Really, there's not really much to say because they still don't know what's causing her loss of vision, but she has come to terms with it, and she's feeling a lot more positive, and she's kind of trying to make the most of the situation. This time last month she was feeling unsure as to whether she wanted to come to us for Christmas, and now she is really looking forward to it. I think it will be nice for her to be around her grandson, and and I just really hope that the new year brings us some news, and that we can just finally find out really what it is, and whether or not there's anything that can be done. But of course I will again update you in the new year. I'm really looking forward to hosting Christmas. I'm also kind of nervous, and it means setting new traditions as well as keeping old ones, especially because we have this German side of the family, and although it's the same thing, it's Christmas and it has the same roots, there are quite a lot of differences to the way the Germans celebrate Christmas, and maybe I'm sure with people watching from all different places, I'm sure even the Americans, although I feel that England and America are quite similar with the way that we celebrate Christmas, there are still some big differences, and then even from family to family it can be quite different. So it's been kind of something that has been a theme for Hendrik and I, because of course he wants to keep some of his German traditions, and I want to keep some of my English ones, and we want to really to honor each other's traditions as well, but at the same time kind of making it in a way that fits, which is not that easy. We've over the last few years we've kind of experimented, and now that Luca is getting a bit older and he'll remember Christmas, I think it's important then to set the traditions for him, because certainly that's something that I loved as a child, is to know what I was expecting each year. It's just something to look forward to. Children like that, that they know kind of the routine as going to bed, knowing that Santa's going to come in the night. For me, that was a huge thing, and I definitely want that for Luca. The problem is that the Germans celebrate Christmas on the 24th in the evening, and that means that, we're unsure as to, and that's also when they open their presents. So I kind of didn't want Luca to open any presents on the 24th, because it gets a bit much, that then there are gifts in the morning on the 25th, and then our family actually do the family gifts on the evening of the 25th. So I kind of think that's a bit much. The other thing is that the Germans have on the 6th of December, they have St. Nicholas, and that means, I do think it's related to Father Christmas, to Santa, because he is also St. Nicholas. We can kind of treat it as something different, but it kind of gets a bit confusing. He's also a man with a beard, that comes and gives you something. And the idea there is that on the 6th of December, or on the 5th of December in the evening, you polish your shoes, which is a good way to get the children to clean their shoes, definitely. And then you put them outside the door, and and in the morning you have a little present in your shoe. So there's that, which is very important to Hendrik because that's from his childhood. So we do that, and we try to kind of separate Santa and St. Nicholas as kind of two separate people. And I definitely think it's important that we have, you know, the Father Christmas coming in at night, because that was just so magical for me when I was a child. And I remember me and my brother, we were almost sick with excitement, and we tried to stay up so that we could see him, and it never happened. We always just were so exhausted because we were so excited that we'd fall asleep. And I really want that for him. And the great thing is that we actually have a fireplace now, so I can actually say that he comes down the chimney. In our house, we didn't have a fireplace when I was growing up, but we did have a cat flap. And I remember my parents said that for families that don't have a fireplace, he'll find another way. And he told me that here it's very easy for him to go through the cat flap. So I believed that he went through the cat flap. But I think it's nice, you know, that traditional image that he comes down the chimney. Yes, so what we're doing this year is that the German side of the family, so Hendrik and his mother, they will be cooking a special dinner on the 24th with German things, dumplings. They have a sort of type of dumpling with red cabbage, and they always then have some kind of bird, not necessarily turkey, like we have in England. So they're going to cook the dinner on the 24th, and we'll have everything traditionally German. And actually, because I'm a vegetarian, I'm going to be making a vegetarian Christmas dinner on the 25th. So that's a little bit different from what we're used to, because my parents, no one else in my family is a vegetarian, actually. But I think I can make something tasty, and I certainly will. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'll certainly post later on what I make if anyone else is interested. And then there's songs, of course, you know, things that Hendrik listens to are a little different from the ones that I'm used to. But I actually find that I'm kind of a fan of this really old choral church music for Christmas. My favourite carol is In the Bleak Midwinter, but I also love things like Once in Royal David City and O Come All Ye Faithful. And I really enjoy being in the church just singing my heart out to these songs. And I'm going to kind of miss that this year because we'll probably go to a church here and they have different carols, ones that I don't really know, and I'll have to read the text and it won't be the same as kind of singing from the heart. But, you know, I think it will. I'll learn maybe to love these songs too. They certainly have some lovely melodies. And my parents are also bringing over all our old traditional family music that we've always listened to. We in fact have a really old recording from 1984, which was the concert from the Liverpool Philharmonic, which they have every year on the BBC radio. And for some reason on this year we actually recorded it, and we've listened to it every year since, and it's actually quite a good recording, especially considering it was on tape. And it's just become something that all the stories, all the songs and everything, I'm sure even the BBC don't have a copy of it. It's so old, and I don't know if anyone considered it to be a particular concert, but to us it's very special. And we also love medieval Christmas music, and my mom in particular she loves the York Waits, which is a group of kind of medieval singers and musicians, and they make not just Christmas music, but they've got this wonderful Christmas CD called Old Christmas Returned, I think, and I'm looking very much forward to my parents bringing that over and being able to listen to that. Games are another important tradition that we need to try and find a way for everybody to enjoy, regardless of what language they speak. Definitely there's one that I enjoy really a lot that I'm not sure if we'll be able to do, which is where you have you're given cards with vocabulary on them, usually quite sort of bizarre, kind of unusual vocabulary that you may find in fairy tales and things like that, that you don't normally use. So you'll have something between 4 and 6 words, and you have to create a fairy tale or a silly tale or something, including these words, and you're given maybe 10 minutes, and then people read out their stories. That can be quite fun, but I'm not sure how we'll do that with the 2 languages. We'll give it a go. Certainly we can all play cards. There are definitely games that, regardless of what language you speak, you can still enjoy with, even if you don't understand each other at all. So we'll definitely experiment with that. I guess this year is a very important year. We're setting our traditions, we're remembering our old traditions, and this will be kind of, we'll know a lot more after the Christmas and how things have gone as to what things we'd like to repeat. And it's just really, I can't believe that I'm hosting Christmas, and that my parents are coming to me, and also Hendrik's mum is also coming, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Of course, handmade gifts is another theme, and I've made a few things for people, as much as I think I can manage. They're not everything I've made is knitted, but I didn't want to get unrealistic, and I always run that risk. Even now I've still got a bit to do, but I've got a couple of weeks, 10 days, something like that, to do it, and it's doable, what I've got left, so I'll show you that now. So Mum requested a pair of leg warmers a while back, and I didn't really find a pattern that I liked very much. It was difficult. I think it's difficult with leg warmers. I mean, often they're just ribbed, or I wanted to find something pretty, and I recently found this beautiful ebook which I want to knit. It's not just the leg warmers I want to knit in this, but I'm doing those first because Mum wants a pair of leg warmers. So they're by Gudrun Johnson. It's from her Shetland Trader book, the first one, I think. I don't really have anything to show yet because just a cuff. But it that's a shame, because actually I was knitting on these last night, and I kind of wanted to do a bit today so that I could show you, but I just didn't get round to it. So you'll see it on my Ravelry page when I update it, and I'll hopefully be able to show them to you if my mom's still. I think she'll still be here next time my podcast goes out. I'm making them also from alpaca because that was also a difficult decision. You see, Mum thinks, there's a lot of natural fibers like wool, for example, she's very, very wary of because she thinks that it makes her skin itch. On the other hand, I think some conditioned yarns like merino probably would be okay, but she's a bit unsure. If you say wool, she freaks out. So this is alpaca. I also think that if you find that wool itches your skin, then alpaca also might. But I also think that with leg warmers, you don't necessarily put them right next to your skin. So she'll probably be wearing socks underneath them, and I think that will be okay. And it's a really nice teal colour, which my mom loves. My mom loves any kind of bluish colours. So I think she'll be very pleased with those. And it's a really nice texture as well, so I think she'll be able to feel the texture and hopefully see it. I really don't know. I mean, because I only talked to her on the phone, I really can't wait to see her and kind of really get an impression as to what she can see and in what way she can see things. She's described it to me, but I think she... it's not that she can't see at all, and definitely if something is pretty or has a texture to it, I definitely think that she can get that, So I know that she'll like them very much, and I'm sure I can do them in the next 10 days. The other thing is that you've already seen before, and it's come a long way, is the cardigan for Luca. So I'm just in the middle of casting off, but I need I need to start the next skein. And then I need to put some sleeves on and the ribbing around the edge. So that's also, you know, what with the leg warmers, it's a bit to do. But those are the only two things that I really have to do before Christmas. I have started and finished another pair of toddler loafers. You've probably seen the ones that I made before that got burned. And he had some other slippers, so I waited a bit, and his feet are getting a bit bigger now, so I decided to make some other ones. And these ones, last time I made them just from this brown alpaca. This time I decided to use 2 shades so that the sole is a different colour, and I'm really pleased with them. And I just think they're really cute. I love this pattern, and I will always probably make him or any other children gifts of these, because it's easy and it's fun to knit, I think. And I kind of really, it's my only real experience with felting, but it's making me curious about felting. And yeah, it's kind of inspired me, definitely, because before this I had a couple of felting disasters and just thought maybe it wasn't for me, so it's re-inspired me. I have also been making, because, okay, in Germany, another tradition is that you make cookies, like huge amounts of cookies, different types, like Christmas cookies for everybody, and you kind of exchange them. And usually I make them with my mother-in-law. So we spend a whole afternoon in the kitchen just baking different types of cookies. But this year she's not here, so she's coming back just before Christmas. And I was thinking about doing it on my own, but it's not as much fun to do it on your own. And I thought, instead of giving cookies away, because everybody's doing it and everybody has so many cookies, I decided that I would make a Christmas decoration for neighbours and friends and so on. And I was really happy with the ones that I made last year, and the pattern is by Woolly Wormhead, and they're called Minikins. And so I've made many of these. I've already given some of them away, so like whenever I see a friend, I give them these. But I had another idea then, and I've started working on it. This was kind of my own design, to make little sweaters. And they don't really go with the Minikins, because they're kind of, you know, like if you're imagining this was an elf's outfit, the hat would be kind of too big. So I'm making a smaller hat, and it will be more, this is still attached to the yarn. So this is the one that goes with this, and it will be more of a kind of bobble hat, you know, normal winter hat. So I was thinking maybe for the next set of people I give gifts to, that they'll get a little sweater and a hat together. Yeah, here's another little purple one, and they'll get a purple hat as well. So those are really fun. They're quick, and you know, if I'm just sort of sitting down, I know I don't have that much time, I think, okay, I'll make just a quick hat or a quick jumper. And yeah, there's like hundreds of people who you can give them to, and it's not a big thing, and it's kind of the same as giving Christmas cookies. And I think a lot of the time people are quite glad, because they don't feel that they can eat all of these cookies, you know, and it's nice to have something that you can keep. So I'm happy with those. I'm also, well, this is crochet, so I don't, yeah, but that's okay. I made this also last year, and I made 2 garlands of stars, and I gave them both away. So I decided that I would make one for us this year. And so they're stars. They need ironing and starching so that they hang properly. And I'm going to make all different colours. Yeah, so I've made several, and I don't really have a colour theme. I did, last time I kind of did some colour themes, but I kind of want to just put a whole load of colours in. I've got a lot of cottons, and I think it will look nice just to have a different colour star for each one. I've also been granny squaring again, because I think, I mean, my mother-in-law has a lot of, she's just moved as well, so, and she has some chairs that she wants recovering. So the cushion on the chair, it's looking a bit kind of old, and she would like to have it covered, and she likes kind of multicolored things. Her house is very colourful, and lots of orange and red and yellow and so on. And I thought maybe she would quite like it if I crocheted a seat cover for her with granny squares. So that's what I'm making for her. That's about it. That's all with the okay, there was crochet as well, so all with the yarn crafting. That's pretty much all I can manage, and all the other things that I'm making I'm leaving off until Christmas, because I really want to make sure that I reach my goals. I don't want to be knitting the night before Christmas and everything. We have so much to do, and I want it to be fun and not stressful. So I'll show you some other Christmassy things that I've been doing next. Things, you know, that, yeah, they're kind of crafty, or or even just anything, just making things for Christmas, really. Just some of them are slightly unusual. You have to let me know what you think. Some of them are more popular than others. But yes, I'll show you. So I'll start with the ones that are not so popular, although I love them. But Hendrik thinks that they look like mouldy old fruit, which is kind of what they are. But so I have been cutting up fruits and baking them for ages, and so I dip them in vinegar and salt, and because you often see, like, in the shops, you see, especially oranges, you see, and I really wanted to get some blood oranges because I thought that would look really cool, but I couldn't find any. Yeah, so I even took pear, and I want to hang them on the tree, but I'm not really sure if Hendrik would like that. But it doesn't matter. I will do something with them, and I think actually I'm going to, maybe if we, you know, because the tree looks nice the way it is, but I do think that these would look nice hanging on the tree. To me, I like natural things like this. I can also see why people don't, but they're completely dehydrated. I cooked them for ages in the oven on a really low temperature, and I dipped them in vinegar and salt first so that they get preserved, and then I also laid them out for ages so that they just sort of lost all their moisture. So I think what I will do is join them with some string. I really want to make some garlands, and I've got lots of things that I've been cutting out for garlands. Yeah, and I will make an old fruit garland and hang it somewhere, and it will be, I think my mum will like it actually, but and Luca likes it as well, although he thinks that he can eat it as well. I've been doing a lot of crafting with Luca. He's also made, so he's still, you know, now he's really into it, you know, like when you start a task and you say, okay, we're making something for your grandma, and, you know, go for it, just do whatever you want to. He's really into it, and he chooses colors, and sometimes I have to help him with things, of course. So he really enjoyed making cards for everybody. And these ones are for his grandparents. So he chose the glitter and what shape we would cut out. He also chose the paper, and then inside I just kind of let him go crazy with stamps and stickers and stuff. For some reason he decided that this one was finished like this, so we went for the kind of minimal look on that one. And this one he put a load of stamps and so on. But he enjoyed it, you know, and that was so great, you know. And I also told him how great it looked, and he was proud, and that was really nice. He also made a decoration, which I also posted a picture of before, for the tree. We just took pieces of cardboard and I let him just put glitter on them and choose beads, and then the only thing I did was thread them together, and now he's just really happy to see it hanging on the Christmas tree, so that's really lovely. I really like the look of when people, and I've seen it done before, people using old music and old text, old books and so on to cut out shapes. It's different from when people use newspaper or or if you use something that you print yourself. Now I know that some people may be uncomfortable with cutting up books. I've definitely, and people have said that to me, I wouldn't cut up a book. But although I understand that, if it's a paperback version of a Dean Koontz novel, which sold 1 million copies and has already been read by everyone in your family, I think it's okay. In the case of this, I think it's okay, because it's not a sort of sacred book that you, it's not, I think people associate it with books that have been destroyed in the past by, by groups of people who are like against things and so on, and it's nothing like that. So I think it looks great, and I'm very glad that I did it. And I also want to include this in my garland with the fruits and so on. But the other thing that I've found these to be so nice for is wrapping presents. You can wrap a present even in newspaper, actually, can look really nice. And then you put sort of colourful string around it, and then you use these and maybe a doily, and then you can write the names of people on there. So you don't even really have to buy wrapping paper. I mean, I love wrapping paper too, but I like kind of thinking of different ideas as to how you can present things, because it's another thing I love is wrapping presents. I've always loved it, and when I was a kid, when I first sort of learnt to do it and folding the corners properly, I used to actually ask my mum if I could wrap her presents that are for my brother and that are for my dad and so on, because I just enjoyed doing it so much. And I like accessorizing on them and just making them look really pretty and making the corners nice, and especially odd shaped presents, kind of thinking of ways that you can present them well. So that's kind of one of my joys. And another thing that Luca has been enjoying doing with me is wrapping presents, and he gets a bit frustrated. I mean, at first we kind of experimented and he wanted to be in charge of the sellotape, and this just didn't really work out. And then I took out some stickers, so we've got like all these stickers of Father Christmas and so on, and I said he could be in charge of stickers and putting stickers on people's presents. And our presents now have like hundreds of stickers on them and stuff. Some of them are overlapping and so on, but he did it himself, and he really enjoyed it. And he also kind of let me wrap the present properly, and he was patient with it because he knew that he was going to put the stickers on in a minute. And I also allowed him to, when I was writing the labels, that he could also scribble on them as well. So that's been really great. We've really built up this Christmas, and I think he's really expecting it, and he's still kind of unsure as to when exactly it's ending, because there seems to be so many events leading up to Christmas. But he knows that it's the time when his grandparents are going to be there, and that will be it. That will be kind of this thing that we've been kind of talking about and building up for ages. And he's really super excited, and I can't wait to tell you, how it went. So on to other things. I've got a great giveaway, a Christmas giveaway, which you'll be pleased to know. And I'll talk about that and all the other things that I've been enjoying up next. I don't know what's going on, but I seem to be giving out some kind of Scotland vibe at the moment. It seems a lot of things that are to do with Scotland or in any way related, or I just seem to be attracted to them, or they seem to come to me. It's just really strange, but nice. I've always loved Scotland. I used to live there and I have family there. And at the moment it seems that I seem to be thinking about Scotland a lot and wanting to go there again. I haven't been in such a long time. Yes, and I was having one evening. I'll start with this giveaway. I was having one of those evenings where I was looking at patterns on Ravelry and, you know, spending way too long just looking at things and just wishing that I could knit more and spend my whole life knitting and still not be able to knit all the things that I want to knit out there. And I found a knitwear designer which kind of kept catching a lot of her designs kept catching my eye, and the photography was one thing, and really it's the kind of thing that I want to knit at the moment. I feel as though I've learnt a lot in the last year, and I want to challenge myself a little more, and there are some things I've never tried, like colour work, and I feel like I'm ready. You know, I don't make some of the mistakes I made at the beginning of this year I wouldn't make now, and it's really lovely to be able to look back and think and see that you've learned. So perhaps they're a little more advanced, and maybe that's what appealed to me. But they're not like, you know, really difficult. And really the photography and then the story of sort of how she was inspired to. So Gudrun Johnson is actually from the Shetland Islands, and she made these two books, these two knitwear books, which were really inspired by the surroundings there, and the photography in them is really it really captures some kind of essence that is that you feel when you're there. And I love the colours that she used for. I mean, I feel like if I knit any of these things, I want to knit them in the same colours that she chose. They're heathery, muted colours that really go with the landscape. And so I wrote to her, and she generously gave me a copy of these ebooks, and I got started on these leg warmers for my mum. First of all, they're from one of those books. They're from the second book. Yeah, there are just so many other things that I want to make, which I'll probably, I'm sure that I will in the new year, when once all the Christmas stuff is out of the way, then I'll get going on a few of them, I think. Yes, and she also offered to give away a copy of book 1 and a copy of book 2. So to 2 people as a Christmas giveaway on our show, and I think that would be really something great to announce on Christmas Eve. So I will put up a thread for that you guys can win. So it'll be 2 winners. One will win one book and one will win the other. And on Christmas Eve, on the 24th, I'll close the thread and announce the winner. So I'm really pleased about that. It's a really lovely giveaway. You know, just check it out anyway. Enjoy the pictures, and you know, feel the landscape, and it's definitely inspiring. Another thing that's come to me, which I have to thank Leah for, and it's strange that I'd never heard of it actually, although there is a story behind it. Freeze Frame is her name on Ravelry. So thank you, Leah, for recommending Outlander. I actually, when you first said, you know, have you heard of Outlander or the books or so on, I thought no. But in fact, I have a good friend who has been trying to get me to read these books for ages, and I just, I've had so many other things to read, I haven't got around to it. And she always kept talking about how Claire is the main character and so on, and she said it's you know, like it could be you and all this. She said somehow that when she was reading it, that the character reminded her of me, and I don't know, I didn't realise that she was talking about the same thing. So I started watching this series, and then when I saw my friend again, she was like, those are the books that I've been wanting you to read. And she hasn't actually seen the series, so I've enjoyed the series very much. Again, it's inspired me. I loved seeing Scotland again, and I just really want to go. Another thing I loved about this show is the knitwear. you know, apart from the storyline and the fact that it's gripping, and I've just been binge watching since I last sent out a podcast, I also really loved the costumes, and I'm inspired by the knitwear on there. And I actually saw an interview with the cast, and they talk about how they actually employed knitters on the show to make a lot of the stuff. So there was like a kind of a circle of knitters making shawls and all kinds of things, which just sounds great. And so there are some things which I've actually seen worn by some of the cast, which I've actually thought about even trying to make myself, you know, just really pausing these scenes. And there's one particular felted shawl that Claire wears at one point, which is kind of actually attached here and kind of comes off the shoulder. And I just thought it looks fairly simple but very warm and just looks really cool. But anyway, apart from the knitwear, it's also a great show, and I've really been enjoying it. And it's kind of, you know, I told you last time that I was really into history. And I've always been interested in Scottish history as well, because it's, you know, it's British history, and it's you know, it's so complicated. And I remember also visiting Culloden several times when I lived in Scotland, and you know, the fact that this is also a theme in the story is also really kind of interesting. And yeah, it's but I also enjoy the characters. I enjoy the, you know, of course the British baddies and so on, but and the kind of romantic Scottish Highlanders. But it's a really enjoyable show, and I would recommend it, definitely. But I've watched the whole of the first series already, and I think we have to wait until next year for the next one. So if any of you guys haven't watched it yet, I would say, you know, savor it. Yeah, apart from that, I mean, because that's basically all I've been watching the last month. And also, you know, now that Christmas is coming, I'm sure most of the things I'll be watching on TV and reading will have a lot to do with Christmas. Anyway, I want to wish you all a really Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And just enjoy your time with your families and relax. And I hope that, you know, you all get your knitting done, and I hope I do as well, without any stress before Christmas. And I look forward to talking to you all in the new year. Until then, goodbye.